to the Author's Corner. I am Melinda Reed Stevens, owner of Stevens Book Agency LLC and the president and founder of the Grace Visionary Authors Guild. On Saturday, September 14th, the City of Lake Charles, along with the Literacy Council of Southwest Louisiana, will be hosting the South Coast Book Festival. This will be a wonderful opportunity for the citizens of our city to come out and meet local authors, as well as authors from around the state of Louisiana. Joining me this morning is author Shun Hartley, a member of the Grace Visionary Authors Guild and one of the featured book authors that will be at the festival. Hello, Author Hartley. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me here, Ms. Stevens. It's a wonderful time to just sit and talk about our event that they will have coming up here in September. So I'm so excited. Can't wait. And having you to be a mentor has been wonderful.
Well, thank you so very much. And welcome again to the Author's Corner. Now, Author Hartley, tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you a native of Lake Charles?
Well, being here for 30 years, I kind of feel like I'm originally from Gulfport, Mississippi. My dad was a military man. We did some traveling. Once we were stationed in Fort Polk, I decided to move here. I did attend McNeese. That's what got me here. Decided to stay, ran a martial arts program here for many years in different locations. Also worked as a law enforcement officer for a little over 23 years. And just met some wonderful people. Of course, been a long-time member of New Covenant Faith and the late Pastor Jimmy Stevens, and have met some wonderful people such as yourself and others within the church, and just began the writing here in 2020, where I really wanted to just start expressing myself in book form.
Well, now, are you married?
I am. I have and that's one of the most important things I should have expressed. Yeah. Married, happily married, with 3 wonderful daughters and 2 grandkids. So, yeah, and we have one on the way.
Well, congratulations!
Yeah, so,
wonderful,
yes,
wonderful,
ma'am.
Wonderful. We're just so excited to have you with us, and if the camera will pan, we have his books here that we'll be talking about momentarily. When did you first realize that you wanted to be a writer?
Well, I think we all have that unction inside to want to write. I could say as early as 2001, 2002, I began to think about my long-term career in the martial arts, which is one of my first books that I had written pertaining to martial arts. But it wasn't until 2020, during COVID, when I wasn't able to actually go out and teach martial arts to the youngsters, such as I was doing at that time. And so, being that there was directives from the government of not going out and being in large crowds, keeping distance from others. And so I stopped altogether teaching martial arts, but I began to have that passion to write about my experience and how the arts, the martial arts, how it helped me in many different capacities, and how I saw it was a plus for young people, to help them. So I wanted to write and just express myself and let parents know, and teachers, and those who are involved in working in young people's lives, how the martial arts was a great tool, great asset, to help in the development of a child's life, the structure, the discipline, developing that positive attitude. And so that's where I got my first book, Developing a Positive Attitude for Youth. That's where that was birthed during COVID, when I wasn't able to actually teach. So I wanted to write about it and express myself.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your writing process. What has become your favorite part about being a writer?
Well, let me say this first. To have people who take time to actually read your book and give you feedback, and they share with you how You know, how it helped them, gave them insight on matters, situations that they were facing, especially with the Developing a Positive Attitude book. So I think when I hear someone express how the book was very helpful to them, that's a joy in itself of knowing that, okay, that was something that I had to say that helped and benefited someone else. The process, I sit and I mainly write about my personal experience, and my book, the title of the book, yes. So yeah, the title of the book, I would think about, for instance, developing a positive attitude. Coming back from several tournaments, and when I first started running my school, there was a lot of negative comments that was made, you know, from the kids. And one year coming back from Ohio, that was a long trip driving, and to hear all of the negative comments from the kids. So I was thinking, I have to develop a positive attitude with these kids. And that was in the mid-90s. And so that title, Developing a Positive Attitude, I've used over and over and over on flyers when I would sell the program to parents, you know, that we're in this martial art business to help develop a positive mindset within the kids. There was something while we would practice, I would have the kids, I would ask them while we was practicing, how you feel? And all of them would express, real good. And so just we were molding that mind to feel positive and feel good about your training. And so I think it helped. A lot of great comments, feedback from the parents and students. Even today, after 20-something years, you know, I have some of these adult kids now coming and sharing with me how the program really benefited them and how it really changed their mindset. So I wanted to write about that.
Very good. Okay, now, what advice would you give to an aspiring rider, someone who feels that they have the potential but not quite sure how to start?
Discipline yourself and sit down, collect your thoughts. Write about what you're passionate about. Some people, they don't follow through because they're not passionate about that particular topic or what it is that they want to write about. I like eating certain foods, but I'm not passionate about writing about food, you know? And so martial arts, very passionate about it, so I wrote about it. And then one of the other books of Leo and me, I loved dogs and still do. And so I wanted to sit down and write about dogs. So I would tell that person who want to be an author, sit down, collect your thoughts, some of the highlights of your personal experience, write about that. You know, sit down. For me, I develop a theme, a title first. And then I look to see what it is that I want to be specific about when it comes to the chapters. For instance, with developing a positive attitude, I want to talk about the parent, how before the foundation, all right, building block foundations, okay, the influence of after school programs, the influence of the school system, you know. So these are things that I want to talk about, but I had to sit down and organize my thoughts and put them in paper. Then I started to treat the topic there, you know, as I would write, and I didn't write from the perspective of being an editor. I just wrote, just write. Then you go back and you can edit. But just as soon as ideas will come to my mind, I'll write it, and then I will go back, and then I have someone else to proofread what I've written. Yeah.
Very good. So you're saying then that the key is to organize your thoughts.
Organize your thoughts.
You know, write it out.
Write it out.
And the first time, don't be so into the editing part. Right. Just write your thoughts down and just let your thoughts flow. Correct. Now, as you wrote your books, was there any unexpected challenges that you faced?
Right. So, being gainfully employed as a law enforcement officer, taking a lot of my time, coming back exhausted. My time to write was morning hours. If I did security detail work late, I was going to get up early that morning and write. So when I found myself getting off track, I had to discipline myself, to say, maybe I'll unplug and won't work, won't do the extra work because I want to get this book done. So it takes some discipline to sit and understand when are you most vibrant. When are your thoughts? When is that mind is percolating? And so it's early morning hours for me. I can't write well at night. So I would take time at 4 or 5 o'clock because it's quiet. And so in sitting there and developing my thoughts and then writing them out, I would try to carve out some time to do that. But that was the problem with me when I found myself at least 3 or 4 different times of getting off track. So again, it takes some discipline to sit down and actually write. And when I first started writing, I'm thinking, it's never going to happen. I won't be an author. It happened for other people, but it won't happen to me. It will if you sit down. It will if you sit down and you take time to write and figure out what's the best time and a place. So there was a place in my house where I wrote, and there was a time. And so you have to be consistent. And I think even writing out a goal of saying, okay, all right, we're August 15th. So, what, by September the 3rd, I want to have this book completed. So you have to write out that goal and then follow it, follow that goal that you have set. And if you don't, then you'll always find yourself just falling behind, lagging behind, and being stagnated in that goal, So do it. Just like that Nike slogan, just do it. Just do it.
Okay. Now let's take a moment, Arthur Hartley, and let's go through each of your books. And I want you to expound on the title of the book, why you chose that title, and to share personal experiences that have inspired you to write your books.
Okay, so I'll go in order. I know I just briefly shared about developing a positive attitude. That was the first book. So I really started to relive my experience of running my school, and each child that I felt that we had such a great impact in their lives. And so the first book here, of course, coming back from those tournaments, we would always travel to the Junior Olympic tournaments, and oftentimes they was far off. And so I was inspired to write about developing a positive attitude and how the martial arts, how it impacted in a positive way each child that we were able to provide this service for. Also including the parents. There's a section where I do talk about parents, how they are first and foremost the ones who help develop that mindset, working with the Head Start program such as I did for 5 years. I was able to see the impact that a parent had on a child's life at 3 and 4 years old, So very critical times in a child's life, and a parent really have to be intentional on what they're doing, what they're displaying, what they're saying in front of that child. And so with combining my experience with Head Start, with my martial arts program, and then being what I would say a youth advocate, I wanted to really just talk about that and how important it was and how it is a privilege to be one who work in young people's lives and help shape and mold their future. So that's where the idea of developing a positive attitude come from. Traveling from tournaments, hearing all of the negative comments, we got to change this, So
well, tell us a little bit
the coloring book. Yeah.
Please.
So there's 3. This is volume 1. Been a Head Start worker, teacher, assistants there. I enjoyed thoroughly reading books to the kids and coloring with the kids. And so each book there's a theme. There's this one here. We talk about respect, and we talk about respect in the classroom setting, at home, even doing chores at home. And so not only is it a coloring book, but there's also the alphabets in this book here, the coloring book. There's the alphabets where the kids can actually trace the alphabets, learning the motions, of how to write each letter in color. And then there's the in different pages there's several activities there where it kind of teach and show them, how they need to be responsible when they're in front of adults at school, being quiet when it's quiet time, okay? And so each one of the coloring books that I have, again, I reflected back on my time with the Head Start program, knowing that a lot of the kids really enjoy coloring and asking questions. And I really saw, now this is not an advertisement for Head Start, but it was a very effective program for kids. And I just thought that the things that I experienced, I wanted to put them in my coloring book.
Very good, very good. Okay, all right. At this time, we're going to end our part 1 with Arthur Hartley, and in about 5 to 10 minutes, we'll be right back with part 2. Again, you are listening to the Author's Corner with author Shun Hartley.